What up, everybody? Super pumped on another episode of the T8 Outdoors podcast. I got my good friend on the other line here, Dustin Bunch. He's been a good friend for I don't know, I'd say about like what, a year or two now. We
Yeah,
met
we've
on
been talking back and forth.
met on Instagram, and we're just two like-minded people who our wheels brought us together, and we, are God-fearing family men and who like to hunt. So here we are. Dustin, thanks for coming on, brother.
Yeah, brother, man. Thanks for having me. Stoked we got to make it happen.
I know, right? Finally, we and Dustin been trying to get this to work for a little while now, but it's like they shut his internet down because of the wind and fire, and then my whatever BS I dealing with, and we're here. We're locked in. Let's handle it. So, Dustin, if you could tell the two or three people that are probably going to hear this all about you, man. You're a super interesting guy, so I'm sure you got a lot to say.
Definitely. No, no. Like I said, thank you for having me on. Look forward to being on here and talking about, our similarities and things that happened. But growing up, I was a military brat, rolling around with my parents and East Coast to West Coast. I was born in Ohio, kind of grew up in SoCal and then back to Ohio and then back to California, North LA, went to high school up in like Lancaster, Palmdale area, graduated high school and went to the fire academy, got hired with CDF, which is now Cal Fire at 19, came down here to Julian, California and started my fire career. Spent most of the time in San Diego, almost 10 years. And then started to learn about the IBEW and they needed some fire guys to go to their sites to make sure they weren't like burning down the forest. And so we took that job on, and in that time period, it was like found out they made a whole lot more money than fire guys did. Got super interested in hanging off helicopters and building power lines and kind of jumped ship. A buddy of mine, Jeremy Struble, and we went into the line industry together and kind of went. First, we were going to go in through the apprenticeship and just become linemen, and they convinced us with our medical background in the fire department that we should go into safety and management side. Kind of got bamboozled a little bit. Then he created kind of the rope rescue program for Par Electric at that time, and there wasn't much people, or OSHA wasn't mandating that you had to wear a harness, to climb structures or hang off helicopters or anything. It was kind of a free for all. And this was like 2011, so not that long ago. And we got
Sounds
asked to
way
come
too
in and help
familiar.
out. It was gnarly. And, like there was an upside down grappling hook. And they're like, you stand on this and you put your leather belt around the rope and the helicopter will pick you up and it'll fly you over there. And it was like, what? Doesn't make sense. But that's how they used to do it. And that's how we started doing it and kind of got into the industry like at a huge turning point, because then they put us in charge of telling all the linemen, this is what you have to do now. You have to wear these harnesses and you have to wear use these hooks to hang on and double safeties. And it's a whole bunch of, stuff coming into the industry, and it kind of, gave us a niche because we came from that fire side of things, of being on the safety, having secondaries and whatnot. But then, got in and went and worked for a company out of Bozeman, Montana about 5 years after I got into the industry, called Barnard Construction, and kind of fell in love with the smaller outfit, not so big. And they just, you could go in and talk to the boss face to face and be part of it, and got to travel around and do like awesome work, emergency work. And then I was 2017 is when we were out at the river, had a place out in Parker, and went ahead and was bringing in the boat at nighttime and jumped off like I always do for 20 years. And the water was super low that night. They turned the dam off and snapped my C5, C6 complete, just instantly underwater. And then a family friend, guy that I grew up with, and his family were on the boat too, and ended up pulling me up. And, I let them know we had to keep me in C-spine and kind of keep everything in line. And fire department showed up and they're like, "Oh, you're too big. We can't put you on our boat. We don't even have a backboard big enough." So I had to help them out a little bit, and you ended up using my own boat to get me to the helicopter and get us flown out. And they didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. And my wife, she was like, "Well, I'll meet you at the airport or at the hospital, and I'll have new shorts and stuff for you." And then they were like, "Yeah, like we're not even going to do the surgery because it was a complete." When they snapped the neck, they actually had to, during surgery, they grinded down the C6 to put my C5 back where it was at. They didn't think anything, was going to work at all, wasn't going to breathe. And it came out. Ended up being fine. They just said, you're not going to move anything from your neck down. Typical story all the
Oh,
time
yeah,
that
that's
they,
perfectly
that they
fine.
give you, right? You'll be bedridden forever.
Yeah.
And so was out in the Barrows. We were in Pura out there outside of Phoenix, and then got transferred to the Barrows Institute. And in that time, like a bunch of research was being happened everywhere. Your family and friends are doing research. What's the best thing to do for spinal cord injuries? And found a company called Accelerator, and they operated down in Medellin, Colombia. But they were right there in Scottsdale, their home office. So they came over to talk to me, and they're like, "We'd love to get you down there right now." Like, it's like, well, we can't really leave the hospital. You got to play the whole game. You got to be there for 8 weeks. Follow the rules, or insurance will drop you, type of thing. So we stayed there, but we ended up talking to UFC fighter Matt Hughes. And at that time, he was a year in from his accident. He got hit by a train, and his brain came to disattach from his spinal cord. And he was going down to Medellin, Colombia, and getting treatment, and it was helping him. So when I was in the hospital, all my friends and family that were in the waiting room was like, find a plan. Somebody get a hold of Matt Hughes. And it was like the first thing I told my wife when I woke up from surgery. And she was like, it's the last thing I'm thinking about is you finding a UFC fighter that you get along with. Like, no, like he's getting treatment. Like, and it's helping him walk again. And so we ended up, getting talking to Accelerator, and it was like, okay, what's the best thing we can do? How's this going to work? And my wife pretty much strapped me to the airplane because I didn't have any control pretty much from my neck down at that time. And I stood 6'6", 275 pounds. So it wasn't like no easy feat to move me anywhere.
You're
They
six
handcuffed him.
six.
Yeah.
Dang, bro. I I was
Uh-huh.
I was guessing like 6'3", 6'4", most.
No.
Dang, dude, you're a
Yeah, 6'6",
you're
270. So nothing fit, right? They order a wheelchair, nothing fit. I mean, even in the hospital, they ordered me a hospital bed, and then they were like, "Yeah, it's not long enough. Like, we have to get you something else." And they plug it all in the damn receptacle in the hospital room. It caught fire. I'm like, "How's a fireman gonna burn down in his own bed? Like,
golly,
this can't work."
makes me comfortable.
So then we took off to Colombia, and when we first went down there, Dr. Helper was like, "You mind to stop taking medication?" And I'm like, "I'm on 13 pills twice a day." Like, I already played that game when I was in the ICU. I told him I didn't want any more pain meds because I wanted to feel what it felt like after surgery, and it didn't feel good. I pretty much cried for 2 days. My wife's like, "Yeah, we're gonna plug the IV back in. We're done doing this." It's like, big tough guy. I was like, "No, for what?"
I didn't last very long either.
No. So after that, we told her, yeah, I would stop taking all the pills, and went through the withdrawals, all that kind of stuff like that. But I haven't touched any medicine, any Western medicine for as far as for spinal cord injuries in the 7 years it's been. It'll be 7 years, July 4th this year. I just go down and get stem cells.
How are you managing like spasms and do you so on your body, do you have the nerve burn? Because my legs are on fire, dude, like
Yeah,
every
I have
day.
it all the time in my arms, and it's not. And I can feel the difference too. So I went down in September and got 290 million cells for my yearly visit, and it's different from when I first get cells to like when it's coming up to the end of the year. So like, I can feel it more. Basically, I guess it's time to take medication. But for me, I only do it once a year because they do it intrathecally in my spine.
And that's Scottsdale, Arizona?
Scottsdale, Arizona is where it's at, but I have to go down to Medellin, Colombia, because the
Way down.
FDA won't let me do it here. So we leave from LAX, and we usually fly into Panama, and then Panama into Medellin for treatment.
Jeez.
But, I
Worth
mean,
it?
100%. I mean, I haven't taken a pill since.
Gosh, man, yeah, I've been trying to get off the
For me to
back
be pain
and
free, even if, like, I mean, I try to tell everybody, even if I don't ever walk again or, anything like that, but I mean, right now where I'm at, like I said, this will be 7 years. Like, it's helped with bowel and bladder. Like, I don't get any Botox or anything like that, like, to help with my bladder. The same thing, like, I can feel now when I, defecate, and then my body tells me, like, when it's time to go to the bathroom, and, like, I can, as I'm peeing or cathing, like, I can stop it now. Like, if I think about it and try to hold it, like, I can get that muscle, but then once
yeah,
I stop it, I can't start it again. So on that part,
that's freaking amazing, bro. I didn't know, like, I was heard people are doing, like, stem cells and, like, they were getting, like, a little feeling back and stuff like that, but
well, sensation, that's the good and the bad part. Like I tell people, like, incomplete injuries, people get it back faster, but I didn't have any sensation, like, on my arms and stuff at the beginning, and now I can. Like, the same thing, like, with my stomach, like, nipple lines there, but now when I rub, like, my back, like, I can feel it now.
mm,
Now, obviously, tapping, I can feel more, but when I first used to rub, I couldn't feel any of it. But it comes with a price too, because
oh,
you
yeah.
get sensation back, you get pain back.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, when the nerve, like, I get it a lot in my arms, like the burning, biting wasp, it's like
Yeah.
constantly all day, all day, all day. And some of the biggest things, I mean, for me, it's just working out, like being able to hit the gym every day. And if I don't stretch, it's even worse. Like, I use the Theragun consistently every day. Like, I mean, on the weekends, I mean, I got a son, I got a daughter, like my son's, only almost 2. So it's everything for my wife. "All right, get up, let's go, let's get you in the chair, let's get you moving, because if not, I'm not gonna have 10 minutes to do anything."
Yeah.
So, try to help
No,
out on the
that's,
weekends as much, but therapy every yeah, every week, but then I'm lucky enough to have my at-home gym, and then my assistant that's here Monday through Friday to be able to hook me up to the weights and the cables and move stuff around and also, stretch before I get up. Because if I don't, then I'll be bouncing around like,
right, right.
legs coming out of the chair and whatnot like that, and, I mean, the biggest thing for me too is, like, atrophy really hasn't kicked in. Like, I still weigh, 250 pounds now.
Yeah, I haven't had bad atrophy, God praise God, in my legs, like, I've seen, a lot of people look at atrophy really bad to where their legs are just incredibly skinny. I've been blessed to have muscle, and I think a little bit of that's due to having the spasticity that I do, like, cause my legs and my thighs, they're constantly just those muscles are firing, so
Right, you
as
do a
bad
lot of
as
s
I
you
as
do a
much as
lot
I
of
hate
standing?
it, I kinda like it in a way,
Right, it's a curse.
Yeah, blessings and curses. But so with you being a C5, C6, quadriplegic, how'd you get into hunting? Like, how do the outdoors, like, when did you first start getting back into the outdoors after your injury, and, like, what was it like? Like, it was, like, completely different now, obviously, but, like,
Right.
mentally, how was it for you?
So it took me, about a year and a half, 2 years before it was, like, trying to figure out how to shoot again and be, like, able to do it,
Alright,
buying the equipment and stuff like that that would help me do things, and I didn't wanna do, like, the puff to blow.
just like
I
puff,
figured
yeah.
yeah, I was like, I'm able-bodied enough to do it, and I didn't have nearly as much control as I do today. But, I mean, hunting was always big. My wife and I hunted together all the time in Montana. Belgrade was home for us right outside of Bozeman, so every year, we'd go elk hunting together, and we'd go elk hunting for a week, and then right into that would roll the PBR season in Vegas, and then we'd go to the PBR finals and go back to work because she's in the power line industry too, so we would just save up all our time, and
Mhm.
that's when we would take it off. But going back into it, like, it was obviously super hard to go, and I can't necessarily hold a gun, so having to build everything around my chair, but then having to figure out where the body was gonna be at with the cold because it's never like, you know, you for me, you don't ever go elk hunting in the springtime,
Yeah, yeah, body
that
temperature regulation is huge.
yeah, right. So then I definitely, put the body to the max. When I did go back elk hunting the first year, it was -10
Woo.
and outside of Bozeman that year. And we tried some stuff. God bless, the boys up there in Bozeman and the Barnard team. We went Tim Barnard, he's got a piece of property and said, "Yeah, you can come up and hunt. Nobody's hunted here in 25 years." I'm like, "Sweet." Like, I am stoked, right? Like, so then my buddy Travis, he hooked up his Jeep and then a single axle trailer, and they put duck heaters on the front so then we could drive around the property. He's got cattle and stuff up on his mountain that he lives on, and it's like, "We'll just drive around and then we'll get you set up and we see something and, we'll just put these duck heaters, we'll just drive real slow." So he ratchet strapped me down to the trailer and put duck heaters on propane just pointing at me. They're like, "Oh, that'll keep you warm enough." And we're just driving around and they're trying to hold me up. And it's like, boy, what? And
Get
you
some
got the rifle.
redneck ingenuity
Yeah,
going.
yeah, just rednecking. You got the rifle in front of you bouncing around because it's not solid, so it can
Yeah.
move.
Yeah, it's all starting from scratch, figuring it out, dude.
And it was one of those things
Gotta
where I'm
do.
just like, what's gonna work the best? Because sitting in a pickup truck, I can't the only way I could really turn would be like that if I was sitting in the front seat. But
Right.
then, you're hunting all day long, you're worried about pressure sores in your butt and being able to move, and you sit on your air cushion, and all those things came into perspective, and it was like, okay, like,
Yeah.
ended up going on the property, and I mean, beautiful, pristine place, and we seen, like, 8 mule deer, and I'm like, "There's not even any elk here," like and then, like, the next week, Tim and it was at a meeting for business and shows me his phone, and he's like, "Look, there's all sorts of game," and right outside his bedroom window, there's 3 giant moose, and I'm like, "I don't have a moose tag." Like,
Yeah.
but we ended up
I'll make
hunting out of
that
the
moose, but we all gotta be really quiet.
yeah, 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 yeah. Well, we ended up learning a whole lot that first year. I mean, I was successful at getting a bull, but I would shoot a 300 Win Mag Christensen arms, and it had a bolt, but my fingers weren't strong enough to hold the bolt to rechamber around, and then there was so much recoil. I mean, I dotted my forehead like going after a whitetail that
Oh,
week, and it yeah, like
I
it's
got
just like,
3
damn it! Like
great
I look up and
scars
my
to
my, my
tell you
nose
about.
was bleeding, my eyes bleeding, and the whitetails out there in Montana, we're able to hunt with suppressors. So if
Yeah.
you shoot like, nothing's running away.
Alright.
You're at 100 yards, and they're just looking like, "What was that?" Like a tree
A little like a little
snapped a
bee.
branch. So, ended up switching to my buddy Travis's NAR platform and a 308 setup, and then we ended up tightening in some bolts and moving some things around on the mount and using a ratchet strap so it wouldn't have so much recoil. And I mean, it's one of those. I still don't know how the bull got killed because we we're at 550 yards on private land, and the ranch owner, we actually went. They had Bible study, men's Bible study on Thursday, and then telling everybody at Bible study what we were trying to do. And my buddy Joe was like, "Yeah, there's a ranch guy that says that a bunch of bulls are hanging out in his thicket, in his alfalfa field." So he said, "Come on by, and they'll scare them out, and we can shoot them." And I'm like, "Okay." So we get there that morning, and or it was that evening we got there once they found him and said, "Okay, like, well, I'm gonna send in one of my boys," he had his son there, and he'll push him out, and then you'll be able to shoot him. And I'm like, "Well, how am I gonna know where your boy's at?" He's like, "I got 4 of them, don't worry about it." "Well, is that one expendable? You don't like that one as much? What's going on?"
Well,
Right?
I'll send a little shit out there.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
one's gone. I've been trying to get rid of him for a while.
Yeah. So they ended up pushing the bulls out, and they didn't even of course, they don't run where you want them to run. And we're at that time, like I said, it was super cold, -10, probably had 2.5 feet of snow. We're hunting out of my van now, and we're just saying, "Oh, we'll just slide open the door, and your wheels, are kinda ratcheted strapped down, not really, you're
Yeah,
riding all over the place." And then my buddy Travis is in a Jeep, trying to crush the snow in front of us, but that, took the last shot, ended up and they were like, "Oh," and they were like, "Yep, you dropped him." I'm like, "Well, God kissed that bullet."
yeah,
Because
yeah.
that
That
was
was a
just one of
Hail
those, I'm
Mary.
just gonna send one last one and hope for the best here because 'cause I'm not getting them, like,
Yeah. That's a
but
beautiful
it
bull,
worked out
man.
really good, and it was a great experience. And, at that point, I knew I was like, "I'm back, like, I can go back and do this every year."
I'm back, baby.
Yeah, be back to what, I love doing, and now it's just turned it into I mean, even bigger with the nonprofit and being able to not just take myself, but take other people and get the word out there, that, we're able to do these things, and it takes a small army, though, like,
Yeah.
trying to, go and camp places and do things with quadriplegics and paraplegics and people that have
All the
disabilities.
Legics.
Yeah, legics, right? Yeah.
But, yeah, bro, so, like, that's that man, I love that entire story you just told because that's exactly what I'm trying to like. I tell people on this podcast, man, is like you just reach out there, like just get on Instagram or something, right? Like, hey, this is me. This is what I am. This is what I'm dealing with. This is what I would like to do. Blah 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 blah. So that's why I started this podcast, was trying to like introduce people into foundations, 501(c)(3)s, ways to access public land, like how like contact fish a game, all this stuff. But reaching out to somebody and taking that first step in faith, you really see that domino effect. Because, like you said, it takes a small army. But, like, from me, my perspective, like some of the experiences I've had in the past, like, I wouldn't know, like, Tom from Dick from Harry, you know what I mean? But they're like, this guy in a wheelchair wants to go hunt. They're like, oh, I want to help. Like, I'm down to figure it out. Like, people
Yeah.
like lay like puzzles, and like getting people with disabilities, especially, wheelchair bound people or people with, more serious disabilities, but people like to solve the puzzles. And don't get me wrong, like if I'm out there hunting, like I'll be your puzzle piece, dude. Like I'm completely content. Let's do this. Let's figure it out. Like if you're willing to help me, like God bless your soul, dude. I'll do what I can, and we'll make this an incredible experience. So yeah, great
No,
people.
it's
That's a
definitely
domino
it's kinda
effect.
been that way. It's been like a domino effect, posting things. Even that first year, like, posted everything, and the game warden ended up calling me from Montana, was like, "Were you successful?" And I said, "Yes, I was." And he was like, "Congratulations." He was like, "I didn't know if you were
Yep.
gonna tell me the truth or whatever." He's like, "Well, we watch you on the internet." And I'm like, "You watch me?" And he's like, "Yeah, we seen your posts, and I wanted to call and, just
Well,
get a
that's
relationship
amazing.
with you." And yeah, it
Good
was
stuff, dude. That's really
it was
cool.
good. So we still talk now and back and forth. And, this year I was able to get back up there and get a cow and deprivation tag and just meet more people that are just like, they like to see people that with disabilities do well and
Yeah.
get out and not go down the rabbit hole, the poor me, or I can't do it anymore, or have 1,000
The
excuses.
woe is me mindset.
Yeah, yeah, just go down
Yeah.
that rabbit hole of like,
Get
"Oh,
out
well,
of
what
there.
if I did this? What if I did" yeah, what if? Like, you can't have that the mindset, like, I was just talking with a family last week, and, they were like, the girl, she had an excuse for everything. "Well, once I get better." Well, it's like, yeah, once you get better, once you get comfortable in your chair, once you get stronger, once you, have a better,
XYZ.
outfit XYZ, then you're gonna go out there and do it, but you're at the meantime, you're letting life just pass you by.
Oh, yeah.
like, every day just not getting out there because you don't like the way you look or
I
it's not
learned
the way
that
you
lesson
foresee
for
yourself in
sure.
the chair and all those things, like, nobody wants to be, have a disability or anything like that when it comes to society, and you wanna be we've all done it, anybody in a wheelchair is like, "Man, when I was back in the day," it's like, "Well, you're still here today, like,
Right.
you can still make it happen." It might not be the way you wanted to do it, but you can be
You gotta figure it
doing
out.
it.
Yeah, 100%. I let myself go down that rabbit hole, dude, for the after I got hurt, first couple years after my injury, I was just like I was waiting for something to come to me and save me instead of, getting out there and living life, and, like, taking that step. Like, I was sitting there waiting like, "Oh, dear Lord, I just pray someone's gonna walk through that door and just bless me with, this and that and this and that, and it day after day after day, nothing ever came until I finally got, after a while adopted the mindset of like, screw it, let's do this, let's figure it out, dude. And then that's really when life began, man. Like, it's just logistically you figure it out on the fly. No one's got this down. There's no science to it. There's no perfect method. Every disability's different. Everybody's different height, different weight, different injury, different this, different that. You figure it out on the run, and that's a lot. That's a lot of the fun, man. I go on like these 3D archery shoots or just hunting in areas I've never hunted before, and it's like even for able-bodied people, you go somewhere you never hunted before. It's unless you get lucky, you spend the first couple days scouting or just even finding the right routes, finding the animals, finding this, that, you know what I mean? And it's getting out there and just figuring it out is half the fun. I mean, like I heard there's a great saying, and I'm gonna kind of butcher it, but I'm pretty sure people will get it. It's like, yeah, the animal is the end goal, but don't forget the journey. Like, the journey is what you're gonna remember the most. Like, yeah, you'll have if you get an animal, great. You might get something for the wall, even better. That way you could have physical proof and talk about it, blah, blah, blah. But it's that whole journey, dude, of just like leaving your front door of your house is when the journey begins, and then you're flying to the airport. You get to the airport, you're flying to the lodge, you drive to the lodge, you meet the people, you get dressed in your camo, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. You get me excited, bro. And I just want to
Yeah, no,
go
it's that
out
I
for
mean,
it.
for me, it's definitely that way because I mean, I'm not at the point yet where I'm driving myself yet or, being able to do a lot of things on my own. Like, I can get around my property and do things, and once I'm up, I'm good to go, but, like, I still need help, with bowel care, and I need help with cathing, all those things. Like, I can throw in a Foley and just leave it there and be good on a bladder bag, but I try not to do that just because 'cause I'm getting better and better, and I foresee myself being able to cath. So it takes people, like, calling in favors, calling in boys, and or girls or whoever. And it's like I've been super blessed with all my fire department brothers and sisters that help me out all the time. Like I got a plan. Like my wife always says, I'm always, selling an Eskimo a snow tray. Just it's like, what are you doing? Like, oh no, we got this plan today. We're gonna do this. Like
Yeah. Yeah, right?
yeah, I mean, most of the time, everybody, like you said, it's people want to see it happen, but then, like, a lot of people, like, don't go elk hunting. They don't go antelope hunting. Like, and I'm in Southern California now. I mean, I still consider Montana home, but going back and forth all the time, people never gone out and done it. I didn't realize it, too much until when I started the nonprofit and people were calling and trying to figure out mental health. And then I started the hunting thing. And then it was like being able to go hunting with people and see the difference and what it made with people's lives. And even taking, my caretaker at that time out hunting and never been to Colorado, the middle of nowhere, and hadn't seen deer camp. And he was just like, this is how it is. Like
This
we
is
stay
awesome.
up late, we get up early, like there's natty lights and then there's, whiskey at noon. Everybody is, just like, and everybody was more excited, on meeting everybody new, like you said, like get to the lodge, get to the camp. All right, let's set everything up. Let's see where everybody's at and let's try to make it happen to be successful. And if we're not successful, we're gonna make really good memories and then get people addicted to being successful at just getting out of their own way.
Right, that's what I like to say too, is like there's no such thing as failure. It's either success or you learn what not to do. It's like you're
Right.
either successful or you're learning. You're never failing. It's never just completely shut off and like never
Right.
gonna happen. It's you just there's another step that you're gonna have to take and figure it out. Like,
Oh yeah. I mean, every time we go out, it's always I'm always saying, I'm blessed to sit there and be a God-fearing person where I know he's watching over me at all times and making sure he's doing everything on purpose, and gonna give me as much as I can handle, which is a huge plate. But
Yeah, Lord, I got
uh,
a plenty on my plate. Take it
yeah.
off the side.
And then we sit there and say, "Yeah, we're gonna go hunting," and it's like, okay, that involves throwing the van together, grab the motor home and a trailer, and okay, are all the wheels good? Is everything good on it? Is everything ratcheted strapped down? It's like, hey, can we get there first, and then is everything still there? Because a lot of times, like when we do take people, like everything's kind of like revolved on what I'm bringing and what other people are bringing to make it successful for the people we're bringing because they never been. So when you're like, hey, we're gonna go to camp, and this is the house that we're gonna use, and this is, the limitations when it comes to public hunting, but on private land.
Right.
A lot of times you show up and yeah, it's a house and there's a wood stove. Okay, well, it's -10 outside, so everybody's huddled in a wheelchairs. You're like, shit, like, let's not get into hypothermia, ruin my day for tomorrow and be spasming like crazy. And you're just
Yeah.
sitting out there like, I think I can shoot it.
Right, right. I'm completely fine. Don't worry
Yeah, yeah. You don't know
about
you're
me.
cold. I mean, that's the story of my life all the time. Like I'm out there till
Preach.
I'm too cold, and my wife touches me, and she's like, "You're bluish gray. You need to go inside. Like you
You're
pushed it
done.
too far." And then for 4 hours, I'm like next to the heat lamp, like, "Damn it! Why'd I do this to myself?" Like now I'm not gonna be able to go out there. And most of the time, I'm just doing a stupid project out in the property. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool, man. I love just man with like such a severe injury and just still pulling your pants up by the bootstraps, getting on that bowl and freaking going out there and just figuring it out, dude. Like life will pass you by. It does not care about you. No one's coming to save you. I'll say it right now. Nobody is coming to save you. You are on your own. Yeah, you might have some help, but it's going to take you to get out of your dome, out of your mind, and into the game, dude, into the playing field.
yeah, 90% of the people with America Strong that sign up for a phone call or want help and assistance, like they all like see me on the internet and see me traveling everywhere and doing these things, and they're like, "Well, you made it, right?" Made what? Like, the internet's deceiving, yeah, and it'll be there, but, like, I'm truthful when most of the people that I talk to, they're usually in the hospital, and they're just wanting to know about stem cells, wanting to know, like, how the recovery is going, what was the quickest, fastest way, or what to grab for a piece of equipment that's gonna save them or something, and a lot of it is just coming down to mental health talks, like, try to get in the right place every day, getting your mind straight to know what you're gonna have to do and understanding you're gonna have bad days. Like, every day isn't gonna be a home run. Like, there's gonna be days you're gonna shit yourself, you're gonna piss all over yourself, and then there's gonna be days that your loved ones or your caretakers don't wanna help you. Like, they're burnt out, and they need time off too, and being able to, take that in consideration and make sure that you're being aware of the people that are helping you, because nobody can do it day in, day out, every day, and God bless those ones that do. Like, I've been super blessed with caretakers, and my wife is an absolute rock star. And we have bad days, letting people know that, and then a lot of times it's families, like, you're gonna have a bad day, like, if it's mothers and fathers, but then, like you said, you've gone down that hole before, and, people just get burnt out, and they don't think that they're warranted to be here anymore, and those conversations are, kinda what we do at America Strong. We talk about it on a weekly basis, individually, and how to get over it, and try to find ways, to get people outside, even if people aren't a hunter or anything like that, like, people wanna come to the ranch, and that's where we're working so hard to get it built and make things a little bit easier where it's goal orientated, and you don't have to be an outdoors person, but it opens up your eyes, and the biggest thing, like, I mean, you take somebody that doesn't have full hand function, and if I sit there and I'm able to duct tape a carrot, to your hand, and you're able to feed a wild horse or feed a bison, maybe you're gonna go home and use an electric toothbrush and brush your teeth on your own, make a mess out of your t-shirt, and try to find that independence to move forward, and that's gonna click in your brain and say, "Hey,
Yep.
if he did it, why can't I do it?" Oh, let's how are we gonna take our shirt off? Well, let's figure it out.
Right.
I mean, I started with cut my sleeves off, and, I'm blessed to live in Southern California where, 8 months out of the year, I can roll sleeveless and shorts, but it's gotta start somewhere, and, being able to talk to those people, I'm blessed and, grateful for those things to spread the word and do those things, but we just gotta get out there more as a whole and help as many as possible, and that's what starting the foundation and the nonprofit was about.
I love it. So if you guys heard that right here. So Dustin started a great foundation called Murica Strong, ER. ICA strong, like America, but Marca, you know what I'm saying? Uh,
For
yeah, he's out there, he's helping people with, quadriplegics, whatever. Is it just all disabilities, or you mainly spinal cord?
Yeah, I mean, this past year, it's been crazy. We first started, and everybody wanted to know, like, why I wasn't specifically just going towards veterans, and obviously, I'm not a veteran. I joined the fire department at 19. God bless our military, everything they do for our freedom, and I was like, I can't just steam everything towards veteran, even though, like, there's a lot of grants out there and things that are just for veterans, but this last year, more veterans and first responders with mental health, but then also our spinal cord injury patients are number one. But locally, I still have a lot of the people that I came up with, and they are still in the fire department. So when there's tough calls and things like that, like I'm able to help them out. And we talk about things and the PTSD with our veterans
Right.
and using animals. I mean, I got dogs around me 24/7, but the goal is to use the American bison as the mindset. They always push through the storm. Doesn't matter what it is. And it's the rainstorm, snowstorm, tornadoes. They've always put their head down and pushed through. And our goal as a family, we were always going to move back to Montana and raise bison. And then I got hurt. It's like, well, we're not going to do that anymore. I was like, well, maybe we can, maybe we can't, but let's try to figure this out. And then people kept calling and asking for help. And then the owner of BioAccelerator, Eric Stoffers, actually reached out and he's like, I keep hearing everybody talk about your big plan. Like, what's going to happen? And he offered to help. And we started the nonprofit and it's been off and running. So the goal kind of now is I wanted to go back to Montana and just get some land and put up 8 to 10 tiny homes to bring families back there and work. Montana gets a little cold. And it wouldn't be very nice to invite spinal cord patients to Montana when it's -10.
Mhm.
The conversations probably wouldn't be very good. So
Too
we've
long.
yeah, so we, decided to try to do something here in Southern California. I live in Ramona, California, and we're in California. We'll be able to help people year round. The goal is still to put 8 to 10 tiny homes, put a small bison herd out there. We're able to go out and feed them pellets and actually look at them and talk real life, but not just people with spinal cord injuries. The PTSD that helps, our first responders and the people that are dealing with it in the military.
Yeah.
If they had somewhere here in Southern California to go and hang out for a week, talk to families that are dealing with the same type of thing, and even be able to help each other. So a lot of my firefighter buddies are like, well, when you have people out with disabilities, like call us, we'll come by and we'll help out, whether it's cooking, cleaning, helping put up fencing, anything like that. And it was crazy the amount of therapy that was for people that were dealing with their own, trauma, stress from the job, just helping another person in a wheelchair in that family and seeing what they go through and then comparing it to them and their problems that they went through and seeing bad calls and it's constantly building up, but them being able to vent to each other was actual like organic therapy for each other.
100%. Yeah, it's so I like this. I use the word harp a lot. Like, oh, I'll harp on that. Oh, but I've been harping on this. So I'm gonna harp on that topic right there. A lot of people out there, the whole reason the saying "it's better to give than to receive" really comes to fruition when you start self-sacrificing your time and your whatever you have on the docket to help another human being. Like it gets super addicting, and like that's like I like because I've been getting a lot of messages on the Instagram and stuff like that, like, hey, how do I get outdoors? This is my problem, da 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 da. So like that's why I started this podcast, and I'm building a database too of all the like the foundations, 501c3s, good old boy gatherings in the backcountry, whatever it is that take people with disabilities out into the world. Because a lot of times, like I hunt with like random strangers, and like, yeah, like, even if we're not successful in harvesting, they were like, "That was so fun, like, I had such a good time. Thank
Right.
you for giving me the opportunity to come and help you." Like, they're like, "Thank you." Like, at first I was sitting there, I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, at first I was like, if I don't get anything, this is a bust." But now I'm just like, I just wanna get out in the woods, you know what I mean? And they're like, "Dude, like, if it wasn't for you, like, I'd be sitting at home, I don't know, fighting with my old lady." Whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
like and because that whole, like, deer camp vibe where everyone is just out there just shit, having a good old time, picking up random topics, running with it, laughing, having it just builds that, but it starts, dude. You gotta Rome wasn't built in a day. It's first, you gotta take that first step and just reaching out. Like, reach out to America Strong, Dustin, I'll give you guys in the comment section below this video, I'll put all the links you need to get a hold of Dustin and the foundation. I'll put it down there, and it just takes that first step. Get that first step out there, and you'll be amazed to see where the journey takes you. So
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been growing since we put it out there. And one of the biggest things is obviously being able to take people hunting. And we've been lucky enough to have families donate land to hunt. This coming year, we'll be putting it on the website. It's under construction right now. It's still open website, but we're adding things to it because we got some things going on. But we'll be able to take 3 people to Utah this year to go elk hunting on private property, and then I'll be able to take 3 people to Montana that can afford to buy a tag, a deprivation tag in the state of Montana,
you
and
guys
then
heard that. You guys heard that. There,
yeah, well,
hit up America
6
Strong. There's 3 elk tags and deprivation tags in Montana and Utah.
that's it.
You heard it right
Yeah,
here.
well,
Breaking
we're gonna
news,
put
TA podcast.
it's it. We're gonna put it all together on the website where you can sign up for it and you'll be able to come and then, just put your disability and then we'll put everybody in there and then figure out who can go and the times and the volunteers also are the big thing is people being able to come out. Cause I mean, this last year we hunted in Montana, it was 60 degrees and 40-mile-an-hour winds and there was no snow. Next year, they're probably going to be 3.5 feet of snow. It'll be -10. So volunteers are definitely needed. And, the side by sides that we bring out and then the pickup trucks. And hopefully this year, we're going to go up in the springtime into Utah. It'll be brand new property. I haven't even seen eyes on it yet. But they get 12 tags on their land that are given to them to help keep the herds down because they knock down so much cattle fence. So they're a family and a group of 4 different brothers that are all in the blue collar world. And we're going to try to look at getting up there in the springtime and build blinds, kind of where we can set up people in a wheelchair, take some plywood, paint it up, and put some duck heaters in there because I want it to be enjoyable. And you get out there and it's cold and it's somebody's first time hunting, and it's like, yes, this sucks, and it's not supposed to be easy. I understand that, but it's also not supposed to. If we're available to help somebody out a little bit to make it enjoyable, even where they could just see the animal. Because it's not easy. I mean, as being in a wheelchair and you can archery hunt. If I move an inch, or fall over, the rifle moved, two
Yeah,
220 to or 2 to 20 feet. It's like, well, they're with the animal, like, they're
right.
not tied up, right? Like,
No,
most of the time they're moving, you get that one chance at a shot, and then you're hoping that you made a good, clean, ethical kill and you have success, but try to get it where we can get out there and get some blinds built to help these people out and give them the best possible chance there is at
that'd be
being
sweet,
successful
man.
and making it happen, but we're, military vets and the first responders, like, we're all for it. We know they're suffering too, and more or less like have that community, like you said, that deer camp community, and everybody kind of help out. And even the people that are saying, "Hey, I don't want to hunt, I just want to come help," we're all for it. So there'll be a full page on the America Strong website. It's getting built right now. Hopefully, it'll be up in the next month. Be able to put everything together, and it'll be really good this year to be able to get more people out and help more people, and
I
especially with
love it.
the mental health is huge. I mean, I've been able to go and start talking to companies, and if anybody's out there and has openings for mental health talks and wants me to come out and talk, we do about an hour and a half, go and speak in front of families in workplaces. And, you might not even know somebody's struggling with something like that. And it's good to get out and talk about it and be open.
100%, man. Yeah, don't bottle it up. It's gonna just grow and burn inside you. But so you say you're heading out to that ranch out in Utah in the springtime to build.
Yeah, I'm going to get with Mark. I'll wait to release last names and all that stuff. But
Yeah,
we're gonna try to figure out a date to go out in the springtime to kind of set up where they're seeing the animals, and then try to put some blinds up to be able to get people out there successfully and make it happen. As far as the Montana property, they say they usually harvest about 50 animals on their property every year. As
50.
50 as they're coming across. They're lucky enough to be right outside of Yellowstone National Park and just a little north, or yeah, it'd be northwest of Ennis, Montana. So the Madison River runs through there, and we're
If
able
they
to
have a
get.
problem with wolves, dude, I know a guy that would love to
Yeah,
a wolf.
yeah. I mean, I've been trying to get a wolf. I mean, I want 4 of them to put at the end of my bed as a nice good throw, but one would be nice too.
Yeah,
That's some cold weather hunting. And most of the time, I mean, I bring I got a track chair, an action track chair that anybody's welcome to use, and I don't tell anybody they have to buy a rifle or even know how to shoot. Like, you
yeah.
got to go through hunter safety and be legit.
I got a track chair too. If anyone needs to use it, dude, it's America Strong.
Sweet.
They have full access to that.
That will we'll put everybody out there at them, and I'm hoping it keeps growing every year. More and more people hear about what we're doing, and it's one of those things where it's like I'm blessed so much by the good Lord above to sit there and get the phone calls that are like, "Hey, we'd love to help out with this." And obviously, donors are big. Trying to make more and more relationships because we are a 501(c)(3 in the tax exempt status. Not unless I don't expect people just to write a check and go away. I want people to help me grow to show what their money's going towards, us purchasing a property, us being able to change lives. And we're trying to build a truck and go to SEMA this year. I got a 1978 F-350 four-door long bed dually that we're trying to set on a 2017 to 2019 6.7 F-450,
I was gonna
make
say,
it
where was
totally
that truck when I
accessible.
was at your house, man? I didn't see that beautiful.
No, 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 no. That one, it's actually, we're with, Divine One Customs out of Henderson, Nevada. It's at their shop. They've kinda taken it on logistically to try to get it built and try to get more partners and stuff. Obviously, it'll be my daily driver, but I wanna be able to tow bison. I wanna be able to move agriculture, move equipment.
Right.
My whole goal is to be able to put it on air ride so I can drop it down, hook up a goose all myself, and be able to help be part of the ranch and do the chores and do the ranch and not just, try to point the finger and tell everybody what needs to get done.
No. Yeah, bro. People will respect that big time.
Yeah, it's been this is the year I tell everybody, "This is the year I'm gonna pee myself, and this is the year that I'm gonna drive."
Charge.
Yeah, make it happen.
I love it, man. Well, dude, that sounds like this America Strong is really, really, it's really amazing, man. It's got some solid backing, dude, and it's gonna get some more solid backing. Like I'll do what I can, like to help you blow it up, man. If you need help anywhere, any kind, man, I'm more than willing to do what I got to do. But it's so were you looking at property in Southern California or are you doing Montana? Like,
No, Southern California, we're actually, there's 277 acres that just posted for sale. We've gone after a few different pieces of property the past 2 years since we've been 501 and tax exempt and haven't been successful at making a deal, but there's 277 acres in Ramona. It's already got water on it, a small house, but it's on top of the hill. It's perfect for grazing. They used to actually have an orchard there, so the water's been great. Now we're just trying to find partners to help purchase it and then build the tiny homes. And the
right.
goal is to be able to have enough room for the animals to run around and do some rescued dogs and cats. And if you're sitting around a campfire and you're struggling mentally, and a random dog walks up and just sits next to you and wants its ear scratched. Like for me, I don't have any feeling actually in my fingertips or anything like that. So it's something I've always struggled with, especially with my kids and my wife, like losing the touch.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it until my daughter was like almost 3 and she wanted to hold my hand. And I didn't know if I was ever holding her hand. Like I'd have to look out of the corner of the eye to make sure that when we're walking, like I was holding her hand
All right.
and, like, make sure it didn't slip out. It didn't click to me that it wasn't about me, it was about her just wanting to be, me to hold her hand and be normal. And the same thing I realized with my dogs, like, they don't know that I can't feel the touch. They wanna be touched. They wanna be loved. But if you're sitting at a campfire and you're struggling mentally and the dog just keeps coming up, wanting to sit next to you, or my goal is to really get an African warthog and make it friendly and have, like, a little Pumbaa rolling around. Who's not gonna smile and laugh if a random warthog comes up to the campfire and is like, "Oh, give me a marshmallow."
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, Bunch has got a warthog? Like, what is this?
Oh, here's little
To be able
bunch,
to get
little
people
bunch.
out of that "Poor me, why am I here?" But also if they're there with their families, so their family members can go to the other side and talk to other family members that are struggling with the same thing to see what they deal with, and then the people that are doing injured or going through things mentally can talk to each other and be like, "Hey, you've gone through this or you've done this, and this
Right.
works for me," or "I'm really struggling with this," and like you said, you get that Rolodex of people where when you're struggling, you can lean on somebody.
Yeah.
Say, "Hey, look, this is where it's at." And the biggest thing, I mean, once you're able to like admit that you're going through something, it makes it easier to talk to people, to be
Oh,
truthful
yeah.
with yourself. And, and what does that best is sitting around with people that are like-minded and going through some similar things. And you put animals in the mix and there's no judgment.
Preach, dude. So that's huge. That's huge. It's once you adopt a mindset of not caring, then that's when you're truly free. Like if you're sitting there and you're worried about what people are gonna judge you, or people are gonna think about you, people are gonna do this, people are gonna, do all this stuff. Once you stop caring about that, man, it's so freeing and so liberating. And then you can like go out and talk to, and then you go out and talk and yeah, man. I can't
It's
and you know
100%.
what
Like,
I'm
I mean,
trying to say, man? I'm like,
yeah,
the brain and the mouth, there's a malfunction, I think, right around this part, but
yeah, you got to pull on that earlobe.
yeah, oh, yeah. Alright, there we go, yeah, but it's yeah, just
No, I mean,
not
I get it because I mean,
finally
I
not
struggled with
caring.
it being the big guy in the room, rolling in and always, being the protector and, you know, nope, that nobody's gonna sit there and talk shit to the guy that's the biggest in the room, and where it was the other way, and they did, and they had to learn out the hard way. But then you're in a wheelchair and you're lower than everybody. You're constantly, like, looked at down, and it plays games with your head, and it's like once you get past that part of what does it matter? Like, we're still here. We're not 6 feet in the dirt. You can still make a difference, and you can still your loved ones, be with them, be part of them, and like you said, just be honest with yourself. Like, this is life, and now I gotta push forward. This is still who I am, but I'm not that person anymore. I'm not the person that was on the wall. I'm not the guy, 6'6", 270. That doesn't matter. It's the who you are personally, mentally and in your heart when it comes down to it.
Right. Awesome, Dustin. I appreciate your time, dude. I appreciate you coming on. Like I said, dude, like you're a big inspiration in my life, dude. I'm glad to call you a friend, bro. Like glad you call you a brother, bro. You're not even a
Definitely,
friend
brother. Yeah,
anymore, man. You're someone I can call and lean on. And to me, dude, that's blood's thicker than water right there, dude. So I
that's it.
appreciate you. I appreciate everything you've done, man. And continue to do. America strong. Like I said, you guys, if you're out there, you're struggling, you need somebody, America strong is out there. They're ready to help you. They're growing. They're taking people outdoors, going hunting, doing all this kind of cool stuff, dude. And like it's so cool to get to see something at its infant stage and just knowing what it can blossom into and just knowing that there's a need and there's a calling for it. And so reach out to America Strong Dustin. Like I said, in the comment section below, I will leave his contact information if you guys want to get a
Yeah.
hold of him. He's a good dude.
The
And
website's up and active, like, we'll be doing some construction on it, and then, like I said, hopefully for all the hunts, everything will be set up here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. You can start signing up for it and say what you're interested in. The donation page is always up and rolling, and
right.
then you can kinda see the truck build and what the goals are, and then same thing with the property and partners and whatnot like that, so I definitely appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, no, like, yeah, all good. I'm here for you, bro. If you need me, whatever, we'll lean on each other, and it's good to have
Yeah.
friends like that. So, at the end of every podcast, you guys know by now if you've been watching, I'm a God-fearing man. I pray at the end of every podcast unwaveringly. I will never forget to do that, no matter who's on. So I'm gonna take my hat off. If you guys have eyes to see and ears to hear, if you can lift up a word of prayer right now. So I'm just gonna go for it. Father God, Lord, thank you so much for the blessings you give us. Thank you for creating these creatures, Lord God, and this atmosphere and the outdoors and just nature, Lord. You knew that life was going to be hard, God, and you knew that we needed escape and peace, Lord God, and just serenity, Lord, and just being out in the woods, being out in the nature, being surrounded by loved ones, God. And I just thank you so much, Lord. Father, I pray that if someone needs to hear this podcast, Lord, and needs to get in touch with America Strong, Lord God, that you would send our way, Lord God, that you would provide that avenue, God, that we would you do. I'm not gonna tell you God how to do your job. You're very good at it. So just guide our hearts, Lord, and use us for your glory, Lord, and let everything be done according to your will. And it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Brother, I appreciate your time, dude. Thank you for coming on.
Definitely, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Awesome. See ya.